Okay, so we're about to be live on YouTube. We're going to be expecting some more people to be joining us at any point. So, but we're recording from now.
Greetings and welcome to another, in fact, it's session 11 of Diamond Roundtable. It's the brainchild of our man here, Mr. Atiba, who is responsible for a number of platforms, some specifically dealing with the Caribbean and engaging Caribbean people. We've been talking a lot in the Diamond Roundtable sessions about the power of tourism to bring about change for the benefit, economic and otherwise, of people across the Caribbean. We've looked at cultural tourism. We've looked at the role of tourism and young people, you know, how can that play a role? And we've looked at sort of the legacy, really, of you know, what our culture and our heritage in the Caribbean, and how we can, again, you know, how can we bring heritage into tourism? How can we make it, as we say, beneficial and inclusive for our communities? And as part of that process, we've come to the stage where we thought it'd be really good to put a spotlight on some of these specific islands. We've spoken about, obviously, some of the islands as we've gone through the series of topics that we've discussed, but we thought that we would focus on two islands this evening, and we're really pleased that we have a representative who is going to introduce herself very shortly from Montserrat, and we will have someone from St. Lucia as well. So I'd like to welcome our sister Rosetta West-Gerald. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. And
perhaps you tell our people or our watchers, our listeners, a little bit about you, and then a bit about your presentation about Montserrat, which I'm very keen to hear. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. So yes, I am the Director of Tourism here in Montserrat, and I do have a video, well, not just a video, a presentation to share. So if you want me to do that, I can do so now. That's okay.
That would be wonderful. However, we hand over to your wisdom.
Okay. Are you seeing the?
Yep.
Great. Okay, so Montserrat, and we are not to be confused with Montserrat in Spain, because some people do confuse us. We are located in the Caribbean. So yes, my name is Rosetta West-Gerald, as I mentioned, and I am the Director of Tourism. So just a bit about Montserrat. We are a small destination, only 39.5 square miles and growing. And we like to say and growing because well, a lot of persons would have heard about our volcanic situation. And as a result of that, we've had a number of pyroclastic flows which extended the coastline. And because of that, we are considered to be growing in size, and that is really a fact. Our population is quite small. It's only about 4,900 people. Most of our language is English, and we have a local dialect. We are a British overseas territory, and we are only 27 miles southwest of Antigua, which is currently our hub. So any flights going into Antigua will come over to Montserrat. And just to give you an idea of how to get to Montserrat from the US, you have flights that would go into Antigua. So you come from mainland US, also Toronto, Canada, Charlotte, Atlanta, Miami, etc., into Antigua, and you take a 20-minute flight over from Antigua to Montserrat. And if you're coming from the UK, you come from Manchester, Gatwick, Heathrow, any one of the countries in the UK, sorry, in Europe, and then you'll go over to Antigua, and again, you'll take a 20-minute flight over to Montserrat. So where do you stay when you get to Montserrat? We have a selection of accommodations to suit all tastes and budgets, from apartments to bed and breakfasts, guest houses, villas, and we only have one hotel, but we specialize specifically in villas. And it's just to show you a typical apartment and how this looks. And the hotel that we have, which is actually from my location, I can see it, Tropical Mansion Suites Hotel. and private villas, that is just one villa. And all of the accommodations, or at least most of them, have exceptional views of mountain and sea from the location. What are the key selling points of Montserrat? So as I mentioned earlier, we had a volcanic eruption back in 1995, and we've had a few since. The last one we've had was in 2010. And so the volcano is, although it's there, it is sort of our key selling point at the moment. We actually have tours going into Plymouth. Plymouth is considered our buried city. It is actually buried under approximately 30 feet of ash. However, we do tours into Plymouth, and these tours are only possible with certified tour guides. So any certified tour guides can actually put on a tour into Plymouth, and you'll be able to see what the volcano has done in that area. So it is considered the modern day Pompeii in the Caribbean. And as I mentioned, it is one of our key attractions. We also have a network of diverse hiking trails, ebony sand beaches, spectacular landscapes and views, and scuba diving excursions, amongst other things. So because of the island's verdure, its greenery and mountainous nature, we do have a lot of activities that are outdoorsy activities, eco-friendly type activities. And this is just a photo of some of the views that you can see the volcano from a safe distance. And by the way, our volcano is monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it is highly monitored, which is important to us, and we definitely feel safe being here. Hiking as well is one of our key activities on the island. We also do bird watching, turtle watching. Of course, we have our fresh spring water. We like to mention that Montserrat has a lot of springs, and as such, we do have fresh spring water. You literally can drink the water straight from the tap. Okay, so no need to purchase bottled water, although you can still do that. You can actually drink the water straight from the tap. And this is one of our this is our botanical garden. And as just to go back a bit, as I mentioned about the spring water, this lady is drinking from an area in Runaway Gut, which our legend is that if you drink the water from this area, you're destined to return to Montserrat again and again. So we always ask people to drink the water, and it appears to be true because people do return from time to time. So I mentioned that this is our botanical garden. And so we have an Afro-Irish heritage. As I mentioned, our heritage is, somebody was just, our heritage is a mix of African and Irish. So I mentioned earlier to the colleague that I was speaking to, and why she mentioned that she thinks she has family here in Montserrat, and I told her that I let her know why I believe that her family was indeed from here, because she mentioned their surname is Irish, and so we have an Afro-Irish heritage, and the Irish people, or the Irish persons, came to Montserrat back in the 17th century after they were fleeing persecution from St. Kitts, and they came and decided to live on Montserrat. So when they set up house, if you want to put it that way, on Montserrat, they came, of course, with their customs and traditions, and those were passed down to our people here. So you have a lot of Montserratians with Irish surnames, such as Sweeney, Riley, Ryan, etc. And we have some place names as well with Irish surnames, such as the village of St. Patrick's and the village of Sweeney's, Corkhill, and so on. So you see from this these evidence that definitely these people left a mark on the island. And of course, this is blended with our African heritage. And so the next slide, I want to show you a bit of our celebration that we have during St. Patrick's. We are the only island in the world, aside from Ireland, that has St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, as a public holiday. And in addition to having that public holiday, we have a whole week of activities throughout that week. So just to enjoy a bit of our heritage, St. Patrick's. So there you have it, our Irish festival in all its color. So in addition to the St. Patrick's Festival, we have a Calabash Festival. And this year, the Calabash Festival will be from the 15th to 23rd of July. In addition to as part of the festival, I should mention that we have a key component, which is called the Prime Produced in Montserrat Expo. And this will be held on the 22nd and 23rd of July. And this is a very unique element of the Calabash Festival. We started about 2 years ago. And I mean, there's so much to offer on Montserrat. For a small destination, the islanders definitely have a lot to showcase when it comes to, in entrepreneurial skills and so on. So that's our Calabash Festival. And I must mention also that as part of the Calabash Festival, there's a grand food fair. And I should have mentioned prior that when the volcanic eruption happened, we had a lot of people who migrated, but we all left Montserrat. We also had a lot of people who came from the region to Montserrat. So we have a lot of Guyanese, Jamaicans, Haitians, and so on who live in Montserrat, who helped to add now to our culture. So they brought their culture to Montserrat. And so now, as part of the Calabash Festival, you have the food fair, and at the food fair you have all of these other islanders who come and be part of the food fair, and they showcase their food items and their handicraft items as well. So it's sort of a good, unique blend of cultures at this event. In addition to the Calabash Festival, we have Aliogana Festival of the Word, which is our literary festival, and that's held in November. And this is where all of the literary minds come, have book readings and showcase exhibitions and so on. In addition to the festivals that we have also a year-end festival, which is now a carnival, and this is where you have all of the pageantry, the calypso shows, and all of the other events that comes as part of our year-end festival. This is really a good time to be on Montserrat. If not during St. Patrick's, definitely during our Christmas festival. And of course, don't forget the Calabash Festival and Literary Festival. I am going to show you another video of Montserrat, and this is a feel-good video because it speaks to the nature, it speaks to the unhurried life of Montserrat, the scenery, and just, being able to come and exhale in Montserrat. So just enjoy. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoy our little promo of Montserrat. Of course, feel free to drop us an email or visit our website, visitmontserrat.com. Thank you.
Stop sharing it. Thank you so much, sister. That was absolutely wonderful. I had absolutely no idea about the strong connection and the heritage of the Irish in Montserrat, for example. That was completely new to me.
Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and also the spring water. I mean, you know, if say, for example, people are doing a package tour to Montserrat, are there sort of particular things that people, is it, I suppose it's a small island, is it the fact that you could do like a 5-day package and see most of the things that you mentioned? I mean, obviously not the whole calendar festivals, but if you were to go, yeah.
Sure, certainly, definitely persons would come here for, just as you mentioned, a 5-day, 3-day, 7-day, or even more vacation. You know, it all depends on what they want to do. So they can, you know, link with a tour operator and, you know, who can put together something for them, or they can sort of put together something on their own if they wish. So definitely we do have that opportunity.
And am I right in thinking that because of the flights going in via Antigua, because when I was in Antigua, I remember sitting actually on a beach and looking across the sea and somebody saying to me, that's Montserrat across there. And me thinking exactly as I said to you, I'm thinking, oh my God, that's where my ancestors, my relatives, obviously prior to coming from Africa, had come to Montserrat before going to Trinidad. So I remember looking at that and thinking, wow. So am I correct in thinking that, for example, if you go to Antigua, it's a good idea perhaps to split your visit so that you can do Montserrat as well. And you can, you know, like we sort of have that kind of, get a chance to see a couple of islands.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I was actually going to mention that you can do a dual trip with Antigua. So, and we try to promote that as well with the Antigua Tourism Office. So yes, and you'll get both elements. So Antigua is known for their beaches and their nightlife and so on, whereas Montserrat is known for its, you know, adventure activities and so on. So you get a dual sort of vacation in one package.
Okay. And what's the if, as somebody who works in the tourist industry, if somebody said to you, oh, there's one thing I have to see, what would you recommend as somebody who knows the island well, that somebody must not miss if they go to Montserrat?
The modern day Pompeii, which is Plymouth.
Right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And for your literary festival as well, is there music as well, or is it all literary? Is there like poetry?
There's also music, because we have on the road, what do you call it again? With the kids, they usually have a parade on the streets, actually.
Right.
Sorry, a parade, and they would parade through the streets, and they would sort of dress in the different characters, book characters then.
Right. Okay,
and sort of parade on the streets, so that there's a little bit of that, and then you have the book signings and so on, and different elements, poetry reading and so on.
Okay, and it attracts poets and writers and stuff from across the Caribbean. Is it also from like Europe or other parts of the world?
Further field as well, yes.
Okay, so it's a bit like Bocas in Trinidad.
I think I've heard, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
this year, well, last year, I forgot we're in a new. So last year in November, we had somebody from Trinidad who came as part of the literary festival, and that person, it was actually a child, and with her mom, and that person sort of was the main feature during the Calabash Festival.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. So it's a spotlight. So it's for all ages. Great.
All ages, correct.
And the seas, just in case people want to know, what is the seas like? Because I know some islands, we have beautiful islands in the Caribbean, and sometimes we have seas or beaches that aren't as user friendly as other places. So I'm just wondering what Montserrat is like.
Montserrat has its fair share. We do have just a few beaches, but some of them are quite nice. Our sand is not white sand except for one beach. We have one beach, it's called Rendezvous Beach, and that's the only white sand beach. The other beaches are ebony sand as a result of the volcanic.
So it's volcanic sand.
Yes, for sure.
But it's good for your skin. Volcanic sand is very good to actually, and it's good for the, yeah.
Very much so. So yes, we do have beaches that people can go to. Diving is one of of our activities, as well as, you know, scuba diving, snorkeling, paddle boarding, all those things. You know, you can do those things when you come to Montserrat.
And are you the same as everywhere else? Obviously rainy season and dry season, but can you also enjoy the Montserrat in the rainy season? Because some islands, the rainy season's a bit wild. Other places, it's gorgeous.
You can definitely enjoy Montserrat any time of the year, even in the rainy season.
Good. Wonderful. My brother, Tiba, did you have anything that you wanted to ask or mention to our sister?
No, first of all, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Well, actually, this afternoon in your
time.
You.
It's
daytime for you, yeah. What's it called? For us, it's evening time at the moment. That was a beautiful presentation. I loved it. When is your carnival?
The year-end carnival is in December. It usually starts around the 18th or so of December and goes to January 1st.
This 18th? Wow.
Yeah, it's a long sort of event. So
18th
every single day you have activities, but that's the period.
The 18th of December is actually my birthday.
So then you must be in
Montserrat. You must then there you go, TV. You must go to Montserrat for your birthday. And you can spend all December celebrating Carnival in Montserrat.
It's nothing like, I must say, it's nothing like Trinidad's Carnival, because I know you're from Trinidad, but it has its own flavor. It's quite unique. We have our masquerade. That's one of our local iconic, you know, dancers who, you know, is very much known to Montserrat. It's a blend between African and Irish influences when it comes to the masquerade. So, and you would have seen some of them during the videos that I showed you earlier, along with our shows, our events such as pageants or calypso shows. It's very different, unique, and it's definitely a good time for us as Montserratians, because that's sort of when a lot of Montserratians return home to be with friends and family.
And so you said it's from the 18th of December to what date?
1st of January.
1st of January.
1st of January.
Yeah. So that could be a long birthday celebration.
Yes, and on the 1st of January, we have our New Year's Day parade and all of that good stuff.
Montserrat sounds fantastic. It sounds like you could just be enjoying yourself all the time. There's things going on every month.
You can.
We've got the literary festival in November. You've got a carnival in December, going on to January, and then you've got the calendar of events starting all over. Yes, St. Patrick's in February. In fact, the party every month.
Yes.
Wonderful.
You can make it as, you know, as high energy or as low key as you want it to be.
And what about food? Is there a wide selection of? Because many of us. Well, myself, I'll speak for myself. I'm plant-based. I don't eat meat and fish, but I know, you know, obviously mainly our community love the chicken and the fish and all the, you know, the things we're used to in the Caribbean. But also lots of people like to eat vegetables and just fruits and stuff. Is there a good selection?
You do have a wide selection. And as I would have mentioned prior, we have a lot of Guyanese, Jamaicans, and so on who moved to Montserrat since the volcanic crisis, and they would have brought with them their different traditions, such as the food that they make and so on. So that their coming to Montserrat would have introduced different types of food, like the jerk and so on, into our society. So you do have a wide range of different foods.
Wonderful. I'm just wondering if there's anyone that wanted to ask our sister any questions about Montserrat further to the presentation. As you've got the chance to actually have somebody from Montserrat who's actually live from Montserrat and knows Montserrat on the line. Yeah. Sorry, Patricia, Sister Patricia, oh no, okay. So I thought you were taking your mic off. Okay, maybe we don't have any questions for you then at the moment.
Well, the lady Patricia, it just seems like she just joined, so welcome on board as well.
But as I mentioned, if you need any additional information on Montserrat, just go to www.visitmontserrat.com.
Oh, actually, I have one more question. In terms, you mentioned the Airbnbs. One of the things we've spoken a lot about over these sessions, this is the 11th, as I told you at the beginning, is we've spoken very much about how there could be maybe a model where local people were able to generate income through tourism. And one of the things that came up was maybe people staying at people's houses, a kind of informal Airbnb type model or that sort of thing, or maybe local guest houses. Are there opportunities for that sort of thing?
Yes.
I mean, are there people doing this sort of thing?
Yes, on a small scale, that is definitely being done. That is definitely done. So you do have families who would rent maybe an apartment downstairs of their home. And, you know, especially during St. Patrick's, when you have a lot of people visiting, that is definitely something that happens. And of course, as a tourism division, we will go in and vet the places first to make sure they're up to standard before they are promoted.
Oh, good. So there's that support there for people to stay with people, because I know there are people that are very interested in sort of staying with a family, or at least, you know, staying in a local community to see how people live.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, absolutely wonderful presentation, Sister Montserrat. This sounds beautiful. I just want to go there now.
Yes, please come.
No. Definitely, that's something that we've got to explore more of. It's great because because my personal knowledge of Montserrat was quite limited, just to the volcanoes.
So much more than the volcano, believe me.
Yeah, it was
you would have lost a lot of land, a lot of areas. As a matter of fact, I should have mentioned that when the volcano erupted, in addition to adding new land, it sort of took with it, the land is still there, it's just that it's not accessible. So about 9 villages were totally damaged or destroyed as a result of the volcano. And so persons who were living on that side of the island, which is the southern side, a lot of them would have migrated, or they would have decided to come to this side, which is in the northern section, to rebuild. And so we have most of the activities now are in the northern section of the island.
So, I mean, is it the case that at some point in the future, there will be an opportunity to start repopulating the southern part, or is it that they totally you know, what's the word? I forgot what it's called. When the volcano ash flows on it, I've forgotten the name of the word anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I believe I understand, but at the moment, it's you know, it is not possible at the moment. In the future, we do not know how soon it will be. I know that, for example, there's a village on the outskirts of sort of, not before you go into the buried city, really, and that's the village of Corkhill. And as of late, recently, the government would have cleaned that area. It is not, people can actually go there and, you know, go and see their homes, can stay there during the day if they need to. But they just can't live there at the moment because there are no services in that area. When I say services, I mean electricity, water. Those were sort of totally dismantled because of the volcano. So that's an area that might become populated in the short, maybe, or medium or long term. We're not sure how soon. But as far as Plymouth goes, that definitely would not, I don't know that would happen anytime soon.
And so you must have a lot of interest from people who are interested, well, archaeologists, but also, what is it, geophysicists, the ones who study the
geologists.
Geologists, yes. Who'll be studying the plates, the shifting, and that.
Yes, we do have students who come here from time to time, and just to see and to be at the MVO, the Volcano Observatory, and to speak to the scientists and get first-hand information about the volcano and to visit those areas that were destroyed. And I forgot to mention that I said before that we have Montserrat is growing, and that there's this bit of land and so on that extended into the ocean. There's one bit, for example, that one local person decided, you know what, let us try and develop that area in a way that, you know, you can have some sort of entertainment or activity, So there's a putting green, or sort of a golf course that is being, you know, put in that area. It is not a full-fledged golf course, but it's a place that people do go and you know, do their little thing with their golf and so on. So that is really, you know, a good thing, because that where they have that piece of land right now, that was literally the ocean. So
oh wow, okay.
Into the ocean, and so that bit is now part of a. And in addition to that, you have beach bar that's built on the same, close to that same area, which is literally was the sea. That area was the sea before.
Wow.
And
So
I because as a child I went there, and this is where we you know, we played in the ocean and so on. But now it's land. So Montserrat grew quite a bit since the volcano.
okay, that's about, I mean, that was interesting when you said that.
It's hard to explain. So you know, we can also share some photos of what I just spoke about. I can share you some photos, not at the moment, but I can always send them to Atiba or yourself a little later, just to
Yeah,
see
that would be
what.
lovely, because I think that's again coming back to what Atiba was saying. You know, I mean, I think most of us probably know, we know Montserrat because of the volcano, really.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know much myself, apart from the fact that I know that my great grandmother and her family came from there. So obviously, you know, but yeah, the thing, knowing that an island actually grew, which is very unusual, because at this current time, with all the climate crisis stuff, all we're hearing about is the shrinkage of islands.
Yeah.
And I know there's been a lot of talk about, you know, even in Trinidad, because Port of Spain is in a basin, and you know, there's a lot of talk about how our islands will be affected by the climate crisis, and whether they're going to shrink. And it's interesting that Montserrat's actually grown.
Yeah, it's a weird phenomenon, because when it took, you know, it happened gradually, it didn't happen all at once. So when you had pyroclastic flows that would extend the land, then you have mud flows that would extend it further and further. So we literally saw where it came from and where it is now, and it's really a vast area, and it's like, wow, and it's all green, grass is growing, and it's solid land.
Wow.
Yeah, it is solid land. It is solid.
Well, I mean, that is really phenomenal, because as you say, you know, well, you've actually got land that can be populated, and that's very unusual, because most of the islands in the Caribbean are actually at risk of shrinking. If we're losing land. Yeah, that's really interesting. Really interesting. Is there anyone else that would like to ask any questions or make any comments?
I noticed my brethren Matthew Christmas just come in, you know, and I know if he was here earlier, he would have loved the presentation and asked some great questions, but he come in a bit later. But
you can always pop us a few, you know, a line or anything, and it definitely can answer questions that way if you know, you so desire.
Yeah. Well, what we want to do is have this information, and Atiba shares these, like we said, this goes out live on YouTube, and then these videos are shared. So I'm sure there'll be lots of people who'll be really interested in your presentation and want to know so much more about Montserrat, and actually want to go there. I mean, I love the idea that
to welcome everyone. Yes.
No, and the 1st of January, you've got a carnival going on. 18th of December to the 1st of January, people. That sounds phenomenal.
And Rosetta, what we're building here, we're building something massive here. Like I said, Isis said, this is our 11th program. So we've had like different individuals that have come on the last 10 and stuff like that. And when we can really proper model this together fully, this is going to be massive. So even like just having the connection with yourself and stuff moving forward, that's going to be some great sort of movements that we can sort of put together at a later date.
Okay, no problem.
Wonderful. Well, look, I'm just wondering, do we know about St. Lucia?
St. Lucia is here, yes.
Okay, perhaps we could ask the St. Lucian representative, please, to turn your camera on and introduce yourself and say a little bit now about St. Lucia.
My camera is on. Can you see me?
Wonderful. Yes, absolutely wonderful. Greetings, sister. Greetings.
Hello. Lovely to see you all. Can you hear me clearly? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, that was a lovely presentation from Montserrat. I've never visited before. I've always wanted to, very intrigued by that island. I just realized when she was saying about the Irish heritage that we do have a family member or a very close family friend, and his surname is Irish. So now I get the history behind the Irish surname. So thank you very much for that. I will try to share my screen now. this one. Oh, sorry. What is wrong? Hold on. Let's try again. Sorry.
Okay.
Few people at home wanted to join, but sorry. Let's try again. Okay, for some reason it is not sharing my screen. After I raced to find a presentation because I didn't come with one initially. When I saw Montserrat had one, I had to race to find one. Now I cannot share.
I've just made you a co-host, so that should.
Yeah, try it again.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, so share sound, yes. Okay, it just says that my computer is not allowing me to grant access for some reason. Privacy, sorry.
It's weird why the computer just has a mind of its own. It just decides to do this at the worst possible time.
So let me try something. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, it's not working today.
Regardless, Anna, I know you've got the spirit and the energy of St. Lucia anyway, so.
Yes, but I would like to.
No, of course, bring it. Regardless, what's it called? Still, like, you can still try the presentation, but what's it called? You are St. Lucia, so regardless, that the energy is still gonna come from you anyway.
Okay, I am going to try. But I did have a lovely video to show you guys and some amazing imagery.
Now we still want to see that too, so still try bring it up. But what's it called? But remember, you are St. Lucia.
Oh wow! Okay, there's a motivation.
Okay. Yeah, man, empire, man.
Okay, I'm really gutted. I cannot get this screen to share. Can I just try one more time?
No, try, keep going. Yes, we want to see St. Lucia. We want to see the beautiful scene. We want to see the video. Come on, man. So, get me.
I will just try one more thing.
Hold on. No, try again. Try again.
Yeah, 1 second. I was just trying on another machine. Yeah, but everything is not working for me today, so. Okay, let's go. Okay. I'm sorry, I will literally be a few seconds. I do apologize.
Keep the spirit, keep the energy. Yeah, man.
3, 8, 9. We can't keep talking about Montserrat in the time, you know. Any more questions about Montserrat?
Okay, well, maybe Anna, we can start even talking about St. Lucia as you introduce it, or is that too much multitasking for you? If I ask you to talk a little bit while I know you're still trying to set the thing up, or is that not possible?
So I am going to try something.
I know, I can see it. You're coming in on your other device.
Me?
Yeah, I've had to do that as well before.
Ayana, don't listen. You're good, man. Remember, we're creating good energy. We're creating good spaces.
Okay, I'm going to try to attempt to share this screen. There.
There we go.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, wonderful.
Yes,
we
we
got
can
there.
see it.
It was well worth the wait.
Yes. It's in Lucia.
Okay, sorry. Wow.
Takafet.
Well done.
My ex-husband's Dominican.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, see this beautiful picture. That is what I wanted to show you. Now, there's no way I can describe this picture. You just have to see it. And seeing the picture does not do the place any justice. You actually have to experience it. So this is our world famous Piton Mountains, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They're like our poster girl. You'll see them all over the UK. We use them a lot in our marketing. They are just that one picture that you always see and can always associate with St. Lucia. They are called the Gros Piton and Petit Piton. We do have a French heritage. So in St. Lucia, we speak two languages, French and English. So we do, when I say French, it is a French Creole. It is a broken French. So Gros Piton means big peak or big mountain. Petit Piton is the smaller one. Petit Piton is actually steeper and you can climb it, but you would have to be an experienced climber. Gros Piton, which is taller, it is the one that looks shorter in the image, but it is all about the angles. It's actually taller than the other one. A fun fact about these two mountains is they are actually miles apart in different communities, but from the sea, they just appear to be standing really closely together. So I'm not sure if any of you have been to St. Lucia, have heard about St. Lucia. It is undoubtedly the most beautiful island in the Caribbean. I think it goes without saying. The tagline for the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, I actually work for the St. Lucia Tourism Authority. The tagline is "Let her inspire you." It's very fitting as St. Lucia is a very inspirational destination, not only inspires romance, but just inspires people to just celebrate life and love and everything else. I saw some St. Lucian flags in the chat. Thank you for the love. As I said, my name is Ayana. Oh, I did not say sorry. My name is Ayana. Lovely to meet everyone. I work with the St. Lucia Tourism Authority. If you have any questions at the end, you can send me an email to my work email address. I will put it in the chat. Why St. Lucia? It is an award-winning destination. We have won the world's leading honeymoon destination by the World Travel Awards. Not once, not twice, not 5 times, not even 10 times, but 14 times. It is something that we are very proud of and something that I'm proud that we're doing right. So the island definitely inspires love, as I said, not just romance, but love between friends and family. We just invite everyone to just come and celebrate love in St. Lucia. We have a year-round tropical weather, just like all the other islands in the Caribbean. We do advise that the rainy season is from June to November, and the dry season is from December to May. So normally typically people ask, when is the best time to travel? It is a tropical destination. You would not need more than a t-shirt. Just bring a t-shirt and some shorts and you're good to go. You would, however, get some more rain during the months of June to November. However, in St. Lucia, we call it liquid sunshine and we carry on. It is a boutique luxury destination. We have a number of boutique properties. We just have world-class accommodation in St. Lucia. You can find B&Bs to smaller inns to the bigger hotels. We have 3 Sandals Resorts, Royalton. We have a Viceroy Hotel, which is in between the Piton Mountains, called Sugar Beach, one of the most beautiful properties, I would say, in the Caribbean, but I'll stretch it and say the world. some of the top resorts in the world. We have some resorts with a 3-wall concept. It's missing the 4th wall. So all you can see is our lovely Piton Mountains. It is a site. It's one of our higher end resorts. World-class gourmet dining and diving facilities. Excellent sporting facilities as well, and lots of event spaces if anyone is interested in that. We have diverse attractions and a very, very rich and diverse culture. And this here is a video I had to show you guys. I am just gonna hit play, but I wanted to play this video more towards the end. Would I be excused and restart the video? Just so that I could play this in the end instead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, would you guys? Okay, sorry, just indulge me, just because. But can I stop? I'm gonna stop sharing and start sharing. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's go again. Oops. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm usually a lot more prepared than this. But should I blame Atiba and say he did not give me enough time?
Yes, blame him.
Okay,
Makes
definitely
life easier.
enough time.
Yeah. When in doubt, always blame a man.
Always.
Oh my God. Listen, you know what? Let me just stay humble and just keep quiet.
Yeah, man.
Empire. That's what I'm gonna say.
Let us share again. And oopsie. Share. So guys, since I've already gone wrong so many times and I've asked for so much forgiveness, I will tell you what I've just done. I've just switched my presentations because I really wanted to show everyone the flag. If you are not familiar with it, I want St. Lucia to be quite memorable. So I want you to remember our flag when you see it. We're still part of the Commonwealth as well. I wanted to give a brief overview as well of the island. Just to let you know that our nearest neighbors are Martinique to the north and St. Vincent in the volcanic southwest, and that the island was formed by volcanic activity. In the 1600s, the French and the English actually fought, and the Dutch actually attempted to conquer St. Lucia and take it as one of their colonies. In the end, the British and the French fought for us 14 times. So this is really important history I really wanted to mention. They fought for us 14 times because they believe that St. Lucia was very strategically located, not just because of its location, but because of its beauty as well. There are certain points in St. Lucia that provide access to see all around the region. And if you're in the north of the island in Pigeon Point or Castries area, you can actually see the island of Martinique from different points on a very clear day. And when you're in the south, down in Vieux-Fort, you can actually see St. Vincent to the south. So it's a really good vantage point. You can see a lot from the island. St. Lucia declared independence in 1979. And for many years, the island has been a melting pot of cultures in many ways. Quick facts about St. Lucia: we have 2 Nobel laureates, and fun fact, that is the most Nobel laureates per capita in any country in the world. We have one in...
Are you talking, does that include Derek Walcott?
Yes, Derek Walcott and Sir Arthur Lewis.
Okay.
So I think London School of Economics just named one of their economics wings after Sir Arthur Lewis. He was one of our Nobel laureates as well. Advice, I think, the British and a few governments around the world, including the British and Nigerian governments.
And Derek Walcott founded the Trinidad and Tobago Theatre Workshop.
Oh, you
because
see,
I was working there when I was at home, and I realized, and I found that it was Derek Walcott who actually founded it in Trinidad.
okay.
So there you go.
So thank you for letting me know. We gained independence in 1979. So our independence is actually the 22nd of February. So on the 22nd of February, fill up your socials with a St. Lucian flag, spread some love. The Queen is still our head of state. Our national dish is green figs and saltfish. That's green bananas and saltfish. So we just boil it like potatoes and eat it with salted cod mixed with vegetables. It is the best thing you will ever eat. Our national plant is the calabash. Our national bird is a parrot, a very colorful, called the Amazona versicolor. Our national day is the 13th of December. We celebrate a festival called Creole Heritage. So that celebrates that the other language is all part of our Creole heritage that I mentioned earlier. That is the whole month of October. So it is definitely a time to visit if anyone is interested. A lot of the culture is on display. You see a lot of St. Lucians wearing very colorful plaid material. It's called the madras. It's part of our national dress. I have a picture of, I'll show you guys just a little later on. Our main income generator is tourism. It used to be agriculture. We had a thriving banana industry, but that kind of died down on tourism slowly over. After tourism took over, we have had a lot of development in the island just regarding tourism, surrounding tourism. You will now find a lot of tourism businesses. So many families benefit from the tourism industry, whether directly or indirectly. As I mentioned earlier, our main language is English. However, we speak a French Creole. This is our beautiful national dress that I mentioned. We do have another national dress. So this one is called the madras, that you will see a lot of women wearing sometimes on National Day. In islands like Dominica, they wear their national dress more than ours. I think it's a thing where we need to I don't know, maybe be in touch with our culture more. We don't wear it as much as islands like Dominica. And there's another national dress called a Wop Duet. It's another old-fashioned, it's old-fashioned, it's just like a lot of gowns. I don't have a picture today, but it's something that I can share with you maybe in another session. Our people, our population predominantly Black. Power to the Black people. We have 85.3%. We do have 10.9% mixed, and the remainder are East Indians, and we have a small population of whites. More recently, I think we have a 0.2% of Chinese because they're just over everywhere. And I just have one point here that says what truly sets St. Lucia apart is her warm and friendly people. St. Lucia, the people are as warm as the climate. They are very friendly and very warm and inviting. This is just a picture of the national dish I mentioned earlier. So what you can see here is just the green bananas, and this is saltfish mixed with mixed vegetables, and some people accompany that with a very cool cucumber salad. Location in the Eastern Caribbean. 27 miles long and 14 miles wide from point to point. Just on the west, we have the Caribbean Sea. On the east, we have the Atlantic Ocean. So you'll find a lot of our resorts actually on the west, just because you have the Caribbean Sea section and it's a lot calmer on this side. We have 2 airports in St. Lucia, one international airport down in the south in Vieux Fort, and another one called the George F.L. Charles up in the north. The official language I mentioned earlier, we have over 30 beaches, over 25 waterfalls. St. Lucia is also home to the Caribbean's only and one of the world's very few drive-in volcanoes. So in St. Lucia, you can actually drive into or walk and tour an active volcano. So you can walk in, and we have the mud baths, the mud pools, where you can actually dip in and have a refreshing bath. Wow. And it is said to be very therapeutic, and it can leave you looking years younger. I'm actually 60, but Sulphur Springs for so long. We have over 5,000 rooms that I mentioned earlier and over 150 adventures. One other thing that I didn't mention, when I said award-winning destination, in addition to our resorts winning a number of awards throughout the year and us having consistently won the best honeymoon destination in the world, we have more recently won the Caribbean's leading adventure tourism destination. So it tells you that St. Lucia is not somewhere you just come and sit and relax. Even if that's what you want to do, you can. However, there is so much to do on such a small island. And I think one of its selling points is that it is very small. That just goes to show you will not spend much time commuting. So you can quite easily get from one activity to another quite easily. So you will get to do a lot more on a very short holiday. So 7 to 10 nights is always recommended. Just the main areas in St. Lucia, we have Pigeon Island, sorry. In the north, we do call it Pigeon Point. It's one of the locations of the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, which just finished on Sunday. It was a really good event this year. We had Sting and Shaggy as the headliners. But Pigeon Island is actually an island with a lot of history attached to it. You can actually have a tour of the ruins from previous wars that were fought during the French and the British. And the cannons are still there. It's very picturesque. You climb all the way to the top of the fort and you can see the island and Martinique off in the distance. We have an IGY marina, which is called Rodney Bay Marina. It is actually the location where the ARC, Atlantic Rally for Cruisers, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, it's one of the biggest cruising races in the world. It starts in Las Palmas in Spain and it ends in our marina. And on the day that it ends, or on the days that it ends, because you find the boats coming in slowly on different days, we have a number of festivities and activities around that area. I just mentioned the airports earlier, George F.L. Charles and Hiwanora International. Our city is Castries. It is located in the north. We have another marina, very beautiful as well, called Marigot Bay. I'm not sure if anyone has heard of it. It's very famous for a number of things. Dr. Dolittle and Superman were both shot there, or parts of it filmed there, but that was years and years and years ago, but I still mention it every time because it's a selling point. It was a very long time ago, but there's still a bar called Dolittle's Bar. And I think there's a dive spot called Superman's Flight quite near there, and it got the name after Superman was filmed there. Obviously, I'll show you the Piso Mountains, our poster girl. So just to let you know, it's a beautiful site. We have I've just got a picture here of our lush vegetation. We have 19,000 acres of rainforest. We have 167 species of birds on the island, a number of jungle biking trails, ATV, bird watching trails, and just so much to see and do, endless possibilities. Were you going to ask a question, Atiba?
Not that I was going to ask a question, but recently someone was actually saying to me about finding out about cycling trails in the Caribbean.
Okay, I can send you more information on that. We've got a number of cycling trails in St. Lucia. For some adventure itineraries, there are quite a few jungle biking trails, so that is something I can send across to you. This is just a picture of some people having a tour of the active volcano that I mentioned. So you can actually view the boiling mud pools from a distance, and the tour guides are extremely knowledgeable. Every time I go there, I'm amazed that there's not one question I ask that they cannot answer. And I Google it and they're always correct. So I'm just like, okay. They're so knowledgeable. They know absolutely all about the site, and they just make it so interesting when they tell you about it and you tour the volcano. You just have to be aware that it absolutely stinks. So if you don't like really bad eggy smells, maybe it's not a tour for you. However, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, the only driving volcano in the Caribbean. So it's quite the experience. This is just a picture, an aerial picture of Rodney Bay towards, Marigot Bay to down here that I mentioned earlier. Up here in this picture, you can see the fort of Pigeon Island that I mentioned earlier. So people can, this is Redway Beach. You can actually take a boat and go across, or you can drive to the top and then walk to do the tour, like the trek to the top. This is just a picture of our black sandy beaches. So in the south of the island, since we are of volcanic origins, we have a volcanic southwest with black sand beaches. So some of the resorts down in the southwest, or a couple of them, have white sand on their beaches. That sand was actually imported. So naturally, the sand in the southwest is black because of the proximity to the Soufrière volcano. Just another beautiful picture of our waterfalls. This is a picture taken in Pigeon Island. So these are some of the ruins that you can find. They are really, really old, but the structure is still there. Another one of our activities, zip lining. We have a number of sites in St. Lucia that you can do zip lining with amazing view of the Piton Mountains and other really scenic parts of the island. You can also do the aerial tram in St. Lucia that is found towards the north of the island. Again, with just stunning views of the entire island. This is just a family at the Sulphur Springs that I mentioned earlier. Activities like Segway, there's the biking that Atiba is interested in, and Ted Paul Nature Trail is a nature trail where you have the most amazing views of the Piton Mountains again. So we have a number of walking trails. So St. Lucia is really action-packed. If you're looking for a holiday to get out there and go on walking trails, be one with nature, breathe the real air, not the British air, definitely St. Lucia is a perfect choice. As I mentioned, we have 167 species of birds. We have over 15 nature trails or bird watching trails, and we have a number of experienced tour guides in St. Lucia, bird watching guides that can take you around the island. ATV biking, horseback riding, and horseback riding in the water is a favorite for many people. This is a picture at Splash Island Water Park. It used to be some years ago the biggest inflatable water park in the Caribbean. I will not claim that it is now, but it may be. If it is not the biggest, it's still one of the biggest, I hope. Non-motorized water sports, kayaking, you can find that a number of places in St. Lucia at a number of resorts. This is seal helmet trekking. So even if you cannot swim, you can do this. If you're not a seasoned diver, you can actually do this. While doing this, you can actually walk along the seabed, but you're always attached to your guide. So it is quite the adventure to do this. So if someone is really wanting to do a once in a lifetime experience, maybe try sea helmet trekking. We have more than 22 world-class dive sites. This is just a picture of one of them. Whale and dolphin watching. Again, in St. Lucia, you can hire a private yacht to do this. We have a number of companies in St. Lucia like Sea Sprays Cruises, the Moorings, which is more familiar, Sunsail, and just a number of other boat charter companies. Castries Market, one of the highlights of any trip to the Caribbean. You can get your souvenirs, spices, a plate of St. Lucian food, talk to the Rastaman selling coconuts, and you'll just have a ball at the Castries Market. We have Project Chocolat. I'm not sure if you know about Hotel Chocolat here in the UK. There are a number of shops. The foundation of Hotel Chocolat is actually from St. Lucia. That's where the idea originated. They have Rabo Hotel, which has 25 eco lodges. So they very much promote sustainable living with no television, no air conditioning. You just become one with nature. They recently opened a restaurant about 2 years ago, and everything on the menu is inspired by chocolate. So if you know someone who wants to go on a chocolate holiday, definitely recommend St. Lucia and Project Chocolat. They also have the Tree to Bar experience where you can plant your own cocoa seed, tour the plantation, and actually make your own chocolate bar. So this table here is actually set up for the chocolate making class. This is just another picture of our delicious cuisine. So you can find natural, more local St. Lucian foods. We have Ital cuisine, which is what this stems for what the Rastafarians in St. Lucia or across the Caribbean used to eat. So they are mainly vegans. But you are finding that the vegan menu is actually growing a lot more in St. Lucia. But you can still find other cuisines like Indian, Chinese, and more English dishes as well. We have the rum and rhythm tour. So we have Chairman's rum. It is the best rum in the Caribbean. The spiced rum.
Oh.
The spiced rum in that range is actually really nice. You don't even need ice. You literally just drink a glass of rum. We don't even need ice with it. I mean, what better rum can you get? I know people say about Ray and Nephew and Appleton. You haven't tried Caribbean rum if you've not tried Chairman's rum. And you can find it on Amazon. But there is a rum and rhythm tour where you can do some rum sampling. That tour is actually being revamped. There's actually a massive investment going into it to make it bigger and just, I think, a bit more interactive, but it will be ready or finished by 2024. The romance capital of the world is St. Lucia, hands down. The most inspirational destination. Definitely inspires love. Whatever your wishes when you want to get married, you can do it in St. Lucia. So this couple wanted to get married underwater and we made it happen. So if you know anyone who wants to get married, who wants to do something special, definitely choose St. Lucia. We have a number of festivals, the St. Lucia Jazz that I just mentioned. It just happened. It was on the 5th to the 14th of May. We had headliners Sting and Shaggy, but we also had man like Buju Banton. We had a few people from Africa. We had Ira Star, Joe Boy, Kiss Daniel, and Kassav from the Caribbean, a number of local artists as well, Faye and Lions, Bungie Garlin. It was an absolute party for a little over a week. St. Lucia Carnival is the place to be in July. Here I have the dates at 17th to 18th. That's actually the culmination of the festival. It actually happens from the 1st to the 19th of July. So we have the Calypso competitions, the Queen shows, and a number of private parties. We have boat parties. It is an absolute rave, the place to go, definitely in July. We have Creole Heritage Month that I mentioned that happens in October. And every Friday night in St. Lucia, we have something called the Friday Night Jump Up. That is the best party in the Caribbean. That is one of my favorite things to do in St. Lucia. So if you are ever in St. Lucia on a Friday night, find yourself in Grosile. You find a number of vendors lining the streets, massive speakers with all kinds of music playing. Well, it starts with pop because there's so many tourists. It starts with pop, R&B, and then when the locals come out, the music slowly changes into more of a local vibe. But then there's lots of seafood, just lots of local St. Lucian cuisine, and lots of rum. That's a secret. And Atlantic Rally for Cruisers that I mentioned earlier starts in November and ends around December. If you are looking to go to St. Lucia, we have direct flights from the UK, USA, Canada. British Airways flies every single day from Gatwick to St. Lucia. During the winter months, Virgin Atlantic flies 3 days a week. And year-round, TUI flies every single Tuesday. So right now, every single Tuesday, there's a TUI flight, and every day there's a BA flight. So lots of options when it comes to getting to St. Lucia, and from the USA and Canada as well. There are flight options there. I mentioned earlier, we have 2 airports. The transfer time from the airport down in the north to, say, Rodney Bay or our capital city of Castries takes about 90 minutes. Tropical weather year-round is about 23 degrees and higher. Our currency is Eastern Caribbean dollars. That is 1 US to 270 EC. British people don't need a visa to travel to St. Lucia, just your passport. And as long as your passport is valid for the duration of the trip, you are okay. I think some people are of the impression that they need some time. If your passport expires today and your holiday ended yesterday, you're still fine. You can still travel. And we have a number of transfer options from the south to the north or just all across the island. We have helicopter transfers and boat transfers as well. And this is the video that I just wanted to show you. I hope you enjoy.
Let her welcome you, warm you, wow you, with her sunshine, fun times, and vibrant hospitality. Let her excite you, amaze you, surprise you, with wonderful adventures on tropical land, sand, and sea. Let her indulge you, treat you, spoil you, with her world-class hotels, resorts, and limitless luxury. Let her relax you, restore you, renew you, with her nurturing nature, spas, and serene tranquility. Let her delight you, entice you, romance you, with her unique charm, magic, and island beauty. She is St. Lucia. Let her inspire you.
And that is it.
Wow. Well,
one thing I did not mention, we keep referring to St. Lucia as she. We do that because St. Lucia is the only country in the world to be named after a woman. So we refer to her as she. So that's where the she, let her inspire you, comes from.
well, give thanks for that, sister. That was truly inspiring. Absolutely.
Now?
That's so beautiful. I mean, actually, I have to say, seeing the beautiful islands of St. Lucia and Montserrat, I just want to leave immediately and get on an aeroplane and head out. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, I mean, where's your favorite place in St. Lucia? I mean, you know, you personally, if you have to give a recommendation.
So, oh my gosh, that's a difficult question. I'm St. Lucian, so I love the entire island.
Yeah, well, I know the Gros Soleil Friday night party. I even know about that.
Oh yes, that is my
I even know about that. It's so famous. When you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I heard about that.
yes, that is my favorite party in St. Lucia, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
I really like Redwood Beach as well, but sometimes you get a lot of tourists there. So I like, I'm a country girl. I'm from the countryside in St. Lucia. So I like in the smaller communities, more local activities. Like we have something called a river bash. Like everyone goes to the river and we cook food by the river. That's a vibe. I like that. It's proper island living, proper country living. And that, I guess that's one of my favorite things to do in St. Lucia.
And that sounds exactly like the sort of thing that we would, in terms of cultural tourism that we're looking at. We're really looking to highlight those sorts of things, like you said, where people can go and just participate in what local people are doing and really take part.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
as the tourism authority, we are trying to, or currently there is a project going on trying to promote community tourism. So it is definitely a work in progress. There are a number of tours that are currently being developed to help people experience more of their local culture. So when they actually give us more information on it, and when the tours are actually ready to be marketed, I can share that with you guys. But there are a number of tours that are currently being worked on that will help you live like a local in St. Lucia.
Wonderful. And I'm just aware of the time because I know we're sort of kind of run over.
I'm sorry about that.
No apologies. But I just want to ask, because I asked Sister Rosetta about that before. So am I right in thinking, based on the geography, that if one was doing a sort of like a 2-island or a 3-island tour, that maybe St. Vincent and St. Lucia work well together?
Definitely.
More so than because often we think of Dominica and St. Lucia because of the quail thing, but actually maybe geographically
quite close to St. Lucia. The thing is, the islands not very far from each other. I think one thing that you guys discussed earlier, in earlier sessions, was the prices of flight. A flight from St. Vincent to St. Lucia is 20 minutes. However, on that 20-minute flight, the flight would stop in Barbados. I don't see why things like that are necessary. It's just all, again, in the Caribbean, it's just a lot of politics, especially when it comes to
Flight paths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, well, we are working on this, I guess, among the Caribbean islands, and that is something that will hopefully soon will be a thing of the past. But another option for groups is to charter a flight. It does sound very expensive, but sometimes it works out. It works out reasonably well, or reasonably. I wouldn't say cheap, but it is actually a good option to consider if there's a group of people trying to fly from some of the islands like St. Vincent to St. Lucia. Chartering a flight is not too expensive or not too far off if you were to go with Inter-Caribbean or another airline.
Brilliant. Well, I just want to thank you so much for that presentation. It was absolutely brilliant. And both of the presentations were brilliant, and it really makes me think about what the possibilities are, because sometimes one thinks about one island to another, but actually sometimes it could work out, like you say, that you're better off going to an island you didn't think was as close. Because I hadn't actually considered that St. Lucia was closer to St. Vincent than it is to Dominica.
Oh yes, it's closer. The closest island to us is actually Martinique. It's 21 nautical miles. Yeah. And there is a ferry called L'Express des Îles that actually travels from Martinique to Lucia. That is also a very cheap option to travel from Martinique to St. Lucia. It actually goes to Guadeloupe as well. So someone can possibly do Guadeloupe by ferry, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and St. Lucia. One thing that I noticed people have started doing is people from Europe, and not just Europe, from the UK as well. They actually travel to France.
I was going to say.
To Martinique, and then to St. Lucia.
It's cheaper to fly, isn't it? From Paris or from France to Martinique.
A lot of the time it works
because of the EU thing, yeah. Okay, that's a really good point. Really good point. Okay, so I'm like I said, I'm aware that we've run over time, but it was definitely worth
Isis, I'm just going to tell you one thing here right now. I've been enjoying this so beautifully. Yeah.
You don't mind about the time.
Listen, like, what's it called? Like what? I just sat there and I just watched Montserrat, and then I sat there and I watched St. Lucia with some beautiful energy. Like, what's it called? I'm just flowing. Like, what the hell? Like, what's? Yeah, man.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm not answering. I'm not what like.
I mean. But bearing in mind then, as we're flowing, does anyone want to chip in or say anything? You've just heard a wonderful presentation from our sister Yana about St. Lucia. You heard a wonderful presentation from our sister Rosetta about Montserrat, about all the things that these two fantastic islands have to offer. Greetings, sis. Bianca, greetings to everyone.
Let me just say, Bianca was actually the person that gave us the suggestion last week for this for us to start moving forward with this program. And then Bianca, you missed it.
That's life.
Come on, Bianca, man. Like you come literally at the end, basically. Oh my God. But yeah, carry on. Sorry, Isis.
Well, no, I mean, I just want to really it is a lull, isn't it? It's a laugh out loud. I just really want to hand over to you, brother. I mean, we've done the first 2-island tour, touring the islands of St. Lucia and of Montserrat. And I suppose we want to think about is the next stage. And I don't know if you want to add anything to, so somebody's just come in, so I'm going to mute myself and hand over to you because unless anyone has any questions, we could bring this to an end.
Yeah. So again,
any last words from you, really?
Yeah, thank you very much, Rosetta West. Also as well, thank you very much, Ayana, for gracing us both with your presence and showcasing the beautiful island of Montserrat and showcasing the beautiful island of St. Lucia. It was beautiful, and obviously I've got contact with you both, so we're going to be staying in contact and looking at developing plans to move forward and making greater and bigger things happen.
And just to say though, you know, if anyone is on this call and you are in contact with other people, colleagues, friends, family who are based in other parts of the Caribbean who might be interested in coming on board and showcasing those islands, we would love to have contact with them, because the idea is as much as possible to showcase as many of the islands across the Caribbean so that everyone, you know, we can put together something. We want to see what all the options are. There's so much beauty in what we have. We are really blessed people to come from the Caribbean. Thank you.
So yeah, have a good evening all, and good afternoon to those in the Caribbean, and one love, lessons.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, lessons.
Thanks again. Until next week.